So let me get started by introducing myself. I'm Sean Safreed. I'm one of the co-founders here at Pixvana. I started the company a couple years ago, back in the end of 2015, and I started this with some old colleagues, Scott Squires, Forrest Key, and Bill Hensler. And today I'm going to walk you through the SPIN Studio application, show you a little bit of the demo content and how to manage content inside of SPIN Studio, and how to create what we call spins, which is a gallery of content that you'll be able to use to share content with a variety of audiences. So if you have burning questions along the way, if I've said something confusing or you can't hear me, please pop a message to everyone or to the team host, and let them know what your questions are, and I'll try to answer those along the way. We'll have plenty of time, I think, at the end to answer any other questions or go over other features of the studio. I'll try to give you a little sneak peek of the prep module that we're opening up to early access soon. This is our stitching system that we've built in the cloud, so I'll show a little bit of that. One other thing I'm going to be showing is, I won't be showing inside this, but this is the Oculus Go headset. One of our applications, Spin Play, runs on this app, and I'll show some screenshots of what you'll see inside of here when you're doing sharing of content. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're looking at now is a folder inside of the library inside of SPIN Studio. So this is a basic content management system that allows you to upload VR content to the cloud. This can be any degree content, could be 180, could be 170 degrees, could be 360 by 180. We support a variety of different formats that you'll be able to load, render, and stream inside the system. And as I said, we'll be able to take this content and group it together into a thing we call a spin. That's just a gallery that allows you to put content together and organize it and present it to audiences, and we'll go through that in a second. So the first step in getting any content into SPIN Studio is using the uploader. Now, I've already downloaded the uploader. First thing you have to do, so inside of here, I click the upload button in the library, and you see a little pop-up. Now, the only thing that's active on this particular screen is these two little buttons, download PC, download macOS. So those allow you to download a specific application called Pixvana Uploader. That tool allows you to upload content once you've logged into the app to SPIN Studio, and it will move the content from your desktop system up to the cloud. Now, the reason we have a separate app rather than running it inside the browser is so that if you're uploading long-running content, like you have a multi-gigabyte upload, if we did that inside of a web window that you closed or shut down Chrome or other applications, you could stop that process and then your content wouldn't get to us. So we made a special app so that you can make sure that your content's going to get to us in a seamless way. So that's the uploader. I'm actually going to switch from SPIN Studio to the uploader now. So let me just close this window down. And I don't want anything to do with Internet Explorer 11, so let me switch to my Spin Play Spin Uploader. All right, so in this case, I want to use my product manager's login. She has a ton of content in her account. All right, so we're ready to go. So you can see that I've logged into it. It says drop files here. I have a little section of a video that is a scene from our Pacific Northwest Ballet that you can actually see in the demo content inside of the Spin Play app inside of your headsets. But I'm going to upload a little short section of that just to show how the uploader works. So I'm going to drag that, drop it into the window. Immediately, it starts an upload process. It's going to analyze the file, and you can see this is not a very big file. It's like a short 30-second video, and we quickly uploaded that directly to SPIN Studio. You can see the check mark here has said we're up, and we have one asset uploaded to the cloud. Now, I can go to Studio. In this case, I don't really need to sign in because I'm already signed in another window. Let's go back here. And if I go to my root folder of the library here, you'll see that I actually have one new piece of content that has been placed into the library. All new uploads automatically get put into the root of the library, and they'll appear in the upper left-hand corner here so that I can manage that content. Now you'll notice one difference between the content here that's already been rendered and the content that hasn't got a streaming render built for it yet, and that's the Set Media Details button. We need to do that to tell Spin Studio what format the video is. We can read some information about the content directly from the file, but we want to make sure that all the things that we can read are accurate about the content. And if you have special needs or another option that you want to set, you can do that before we do any kind of rendering. So let's set media details. We bring up a little pop-up, and that shows us the window that is the encoding name, the type of content, and then you can see we support stereo 360 content, either top-bottom layout or stereo left-right. This is different than the stereo audio that we support. And so in this case, it's just a mono video, so I'll leave it mono. We have frame rate. You can set that as well, but it's already been read from the file. We can set the field of view, 360, 180, or custom if you have an any degree format. You know, sometimes if you're working with a piece of footage from, say, a Zcam K1 for 180 content, and you want to trim out those extra edges on the sides, you can actually set the horizontal view from 180 to, say, 170 to cut out that edges. And we allow you to do it in the custom setting here. So 360 video, so we'll leave that there. So that's all we need to do really for this. I could set audio settings if I had to, but I'm ready to go, so I'm just going to confirm and encode. So you can see in this case, I've already rendered this before, so it has one video attached to it, and I don't see anything happening except for this little encode message. If I click on it, I get a little window over in the corner where I can see my encoding happening. So here it's actually rendering a new encode under this panel that's popped up on the side, and this is where we show all the metadata and the encodes that are going on for this video. Now, this video is really short. It's only about 30 seconds long, so the encoding here is going to take a minute or two to render in the cloud, and it'll be ready for streaming. So we're pretty much set on that encoding. It'll happen automatically, and we'll be ready to go. So we can stream that back or play it back on the web. So let's go ahead and let that render, and I'll walk you through some of the other features of the Spin Studio library and how we organize content while we wait for that to then encoding to appear. So you can see on the side here, as I mouse over the library, we've already got a bunch of folders with different kinds of content built into it. So in the case of this webinar, I built a little July demo folder, and I already have some content inside of here that's already been rendered. Some of this is stuff that you would see inside of Spin Play. So for example, this Zappy one already has a bunch of renders built for it, and I can come in here and let's just play our standard AVC render on the web. So in this case, this video has already got a render. I'm going to turn down the audio there. You can see in the window that I've already popped up, I've got Spin Play playing on the web in the 360 format. And so I can move that around using the mouse. I can see up in the corner exactly where I'm looking. And then I can see some other details about this particular file down in the corner. So you can change the viewpoint. So let me pause this video for a second. And if I change the video, I can see it as a correct instead of full view. I can reset the viewpoint. So if I moved it over here, I can reset view to center. And then down the corner, I can actually pop it out and make it a full screen view. So that's the web view that we have, so you can review it. You can even check out the different encoding ladders that we've built for you automatically here. So that's the content that we've already built. Let's go ahead and go back to the library. We can see that the encoding is completed here. I can pop up that, play it in the same window. It starts to play immediately inside of the web window. So that's cool. So let's take this video and actually move it into our demo content folder. And now we've just reorganized that bit of content. So now I've got that particular content inside of my folder. So that's kind of the basics of how the library works. We manage content, create folders, and we move those bits of content into folders so that we can manage them easily. We set media details, we do some encoding. Now, one other thing I like to do here, let me just pull this up, click this. I want to rename this, so let's just call this Pacific Northwest Ballet, the PNB for short, scene. All right, so I've got an asset name that's changed automatically in the view here, and that'll be reflected in my Spin Studio spins as well. So let's flip over to the spins real quick. Click over to this tab. Now you can see I've already got a number of demo spins that I've created, but let's create a new one. So we'll call this web demo. Done. And immediately this opens, but I don't have any content in here. So I need to add some videos to this particular spin to create my gallery. So let's add a video. Again, I'll go back to my July demos. I'll go ahead and add 2 bits of content to this demo. Say add down in the corner, and there we go. We've got 2 pieces of content that we can share as a gallery. Now, you're probably saying, well, how does this actually appear inside the headset, or how do I get this to play inside of a headset? Well, you need our Spin Play application. The Spin Play app actually runs on Windows, which I'm showing you here. If I had a connected Rift, I could actually play on this specific device if it's a VR-capable device, and on a number of Android devices as well, including all the Daydream devices, and on Gear VR and Oculus Go. So you could use one of the Oculus Go's like I have here to review the content using the Spin Play app directly from the Oculus Store. So let me show you what that would look like when I've brought up the Spin Play app inside of the headset. I'm not going to reflect the content from the actual headset. I'm just going to show you a screenshot of what that's going to appear to look like. So inside of here, I've done some screenshots in a Google slide just so we can get a view of what it looks like in the headset. I'm going to pause real quick. Any questions out there? Okay, we're good. So inside the Spin Play app, we have the view here of the default set of galleries. You can see the full Pacific Northwest Ballet content that we share with you, and 8 other pieces of content that our WonderView production team has built, all rendered in 8K or 10K format, streamable on the web. So this is what you're going to see if you just download the Spin Play application and you want to just see some demo content. But if you wanted to connect to the spin that I've created or share this with clients, for example, you would use the connect button down here. And once you've connected, that's going to bring you to a Spin Play connection code. Now this little code is the code that we use to connect the device to Spin Studio, and it allows us to connect these 2 things together, and means that we're able to deliver that Spin Play app, the Spin Play content to the app at any time. So let's flip back really quick, and I'll show you where that happens. So if I want to add devices, and this is called what we call casting, we can cast to these devices. So I can add a new device to my spin. Now let's go ahead and add a couple of devices here. So I can just shift click, or I can select all, click add, and now you see up in the view here, we have 2 devices that we've added, a Oculus Go and a Gear VR. So these 2 devices are now paired to this particular spin, and I can deliver this content directly to them and actually add new content as well to this gallery, and they're going to see 2 thumbnails when they open those devices and look at Spin Play. So now that they've connected, they can see 2 pieces of content. If I flip over to the view inside of the Oculus Go, you're going to see what that would look like. So this is just 2 thumbnail galleries shown inside the Oculus headset. And you can see that since we paired, it now has a disconnect button down here in the corner. Now, a lot of times our customers have asked us, hey, I want to use Spin Studio. It does a great job delivering content, but I just want to download the content to my device. I want to take it offline, and I don't want to stream. I just want to make sure that whenever somebody puts the device on, they can play it back. This is really useful for training scenarios, film festivals, presentations where you want to just take that device, take it somewhere, start up Spin Play, and play the content. So there's really two steps to do that. You click inside the headset, you're going to see that this little proxy window of what you're seeing, there's a little button there that has a down arrow. That's our download button. You can either play or download. When you play in this mode, you're going to be streaming. When I've downloaded it, that little icon is going to change to a trash can, meaning that you've got local content ready to play. Now, the nice thing is, once you click that button and you're in the headset and you've got all the content ready to go, you can just set this aside and it's going to download in the background. You don't need to do anything else. So that's step one, download the content. Now, the second step here is to take the system and put it into an offline mode, and you do that using our settings control. So let me flip to the last screen here. I'm going to show you the last view inside of Spin Play. And here, you're going to use your device and the wand again. You would point at the little icon down the corner of the gear, use the little trigger, select it, and then you'll get this preferences window, and you see under the app mode, you have online and offline. When you're in offline mode, that means that you're only going to be playing local content, and it warns you in a little message there that you should have downloaded all your content to assure that it's going to play locally. So once you've done that, once you click offline and say done, then you're ready to go, and that content is going to be offline and ready to play. Now, there's one other policy change that we allow you to do inside of the system, and I'll show you one other feature that we have built into the Spin's controls. So here I'm going to add another piece of content. We'll just add our fashion shoot to this. So now I've got 3 pieces of content. But let's say I wanted to order this in a specific way for presentation. I can actually take these videos and drag and drop them into different orders. So I could have Zapier first, and then Mandolin, and then fashion shoot. And then these would appear as the gallery thumbnails at the top in this order: Zapier, Mandolin, fashion shoot. Now, once we have the content in place, we can also do what we call autoplay. So once I've set the content to autoplay mode, now Spin Play will use this setting to autoplay this content the next time that it starts up. So any connected devices, as you see here, in this mode with autoplay on, will then play each of these pieces of video in order. So you can use this as a basic kind of cut list, review mode, or for a film festival where you want people to view a series of shorts in order. So if you wanted someone to see each one of these pieces of content in order, click autoplay, and then when they put the headset on, they're going to see a small countdown, and then these 3 pieces of content in order. Now, you also have one other option here, and that's under loop play. You can click loop play on, and then these connected devices, when they see it, are actually going to go into a mode that will loop this content as well. So you can have content 1, 2, and 3, and then if they left the headset on, it would start over. Now, we've built one other feature here that is kind of just a hidden thing of autoplay mode when you're using it at a festival. And it's a great feature that allows you to easily manage multiple headsets without having to have lots of hosts helping people in and out, restarting content. When you're in autoplay mode and you put the headset on, it's going to play through whatever bit of content is in this particular spin. You might go through content 1, content 2, and then the user might get bored and they take it off. If they take it off and set it down for a few seconds, that device is going to reset. And that means that when the device is put on the next time, the user will then see the first piece of content again. And this is a great kind of mode for anywhere where you want to have a kiosk, right? You set up the devices, put all the content on it, put it in autoplay, put it in loop, put it in download mode, and this doesn't really need to be managed anymore. You can just depend on if it has battery, people put it on, Spin Play is launched, and you can watch that content and know that it's always going to restart the next time someone puts it on. So let me talk about a couple of other customization options here, and then we can throw it to questions, and I'll go into prep module. So we have a couple of things that you can do to customize a spin. If you don't want to pair devices, you can share And this is a little share link that I can copy and put on the web. I can use this without having to cast to specific devices. It's very useful for kind of sharing to Windows devices or to Gear VR. Unfortunately, this doesn't work yet on Oculus Go, but we have a solution coming for that as well that will allow you to pair on Oculus Go. So stay tuned on that one. Under Spin Play customization, you can actually upload your own content as a logo, as you saw here at the top of these windows. This is my own logo, the default that we provide for Spin Play. But you can customize that with your own logo. And then you can add your own skybox as well as just a plain ECREC JPEG or PNG file that you upload, and this skybox will get replaced. So that's a nice way for you to customize that background. You know, we have this beautiful little freeway that we call it here that you can use as a background, but if you want to customize that, you can as well. Okay, so that's sort of all the features that we use for library management, encoding, setting up spins, getting into autoplay, creating loop playlists. You know, pretty much walk through how you could create your own little training session or film festival set up using Spin Play and Spin Studio. So let me turn to the last subject, which is a little sneak peek of what our prep module is like. So I'm going to switch over here. And in a few weeks, you'll actually be able to get into this as well and do stitching in our system. So we have other things planned for prep, so stay tuned. But the first one is a stitcher, and I would do that by creating a stitch. Now, in the interest of time, I've already created a stitch, so I'm going to go into my edit mode here. I'm going to load this project, and you can see that I actually have a project that I've already loaded. This is from a GoPro Omni, rendered in mono mode at 30 frames per second. I have 6 videos from the Omni. You know, typical Omni setup, you have 6 pieces of content from each of the cameras in the Omni system. I would load these in here and then generate a preview. Now, I've already done that. It usually takes between 20 and 30 seconds to generate that thumbnail, but you can see that I've already got a grid that I've set up that shows me what the view is going to look like inside of Spin Studio. I can actually grab this and move it around to set the horizon or the level of this. And then under the refinement controls, we can actually use this to refine both the color and the viewpoint orientations. So if I want to say just pan this piece of content, I can do that. I can also adjust this manually to a straight horizon using my horizon guides. We have this nice set nadir feature where you can click on your nadir, where your little tripod would usually be, and set the level of the system. And then finally, if you want to, you can actually do a color correction using our color filters from the system to render out a completed stitch. And so in this case, I've got a set of 3D lookup tables that we've built, that I personally built for the color filters. And then we have some specific tunings that we've created if you're shooting with the Insta360 Pro flat mode or the GoPro in the Pro Tune mode. These will allow you to get a proper looking video from a Pro Tune output. So you can see there that's taken Pro Tune shot GoPro output and turned it into kind of a standard Rec 709 looking video. So if I wanted this to look kind of boosted in contrast, I can change that as well. So you know, you have various options in here, very basic, but high quality color filters that'll be applied once you click the Render Stitch Master button here. So that's sort of a sneak peek. We look at our stitchers kind of a basic system for getting a good stitch from multiple cameras, either GoPro or Insta360. We're working on the 2 camera systems for GoPro Fusion and others, and then the Can-Do cameras, which are also popular as rentals, and those will be supported in the system later this summer. So those are all things that we have on the roadmap. And with that, I think I've covered pretty much every feature inside of Spin Studio today. So why don't we throw it to the chat window and open up to questions, and I'll leave it there.
Sean, we have a question. Somebody is asking, how many headsets can you pair to your Spin Studio?
Right now, our system is set up to do an unlimited number, but it really is dependent on your account level. So for our starter level, we actually support 10 headsets that you can pair with the system, and that's any number of different devices. So meaning you could have 2 Go's, 5 Gears, 3 Windows devices, and those are all supported under the same content. So you don't need to worry about the number or type. It's really just 10 headsets. Later on, we're going to have a Pro SKU with more and Team SKUs that will do more than that, but for now it's 10. If you need more than that, let us know. We'll help you out and support you. It's early days with us with SPIN Studio, and we're willing to work with customers directly to support any number of headsets they need. In fact, the recent Seattle International Film Festival, we had, I think, 64 devices that we had paired with the system and delivered content to. So fully capable of doing more than that if you want.
David's asking, do you expect to see any display hardware that might work with Macs?
Display hardware that might work with Macs. Oh, okay. So I think there's probably 2 questions embedded in that. One is, do we support Macs for running SPIN Studio? And absolutely, I'm running this on Windows, but we're just a web application. So you can do everything you see inside of this Chrome window on Windows on the Mac. So you can log into SPIN Studio, you can upload content using our Mac uploader, you can process all that content using the same exact interface that you see here. It's just a web app. It runs in the cloud. It does all the processing there. I think what David is asking specifically, though, is do we support the Oculus 5 connected to, say, an iMac Pro, which is the only configuration now that Apple officially supports for VR creation inside of Final Cut. And so right now we don't support that configuration as a playback device, but it is on our roadmap, and I suspect that later this year you'll hear more from us on Mac content development and Mac previewing through the SPIN Studio. But today, best done through Windows, either connected Rift or, like I said, Oculus Go. The great thing about the Go is this is a super device, lasts for 3 hours, $200, very easy to get into, super comfortable compared to a Vive, actually. I vastly prefer this. It has a nice little offset system, if you don't know about it, that lets you take this headset out, this little foam guy, and if you wear glasses like me, it has a little offset that allows you to see the devices better. It also has custom lenses you can get, so it's pretty awesome.
Sean, we have another question. What cameras will we support in the first stage of that?
So in the first go-round, when we do the early access release for this in beta, you can see that we have our GoPro Omni Insta360, and then we'll be adding the Zcam V1. Those are all multi-camera Horizon cameras with one up or down. That's the system that we're using. The system that we're using to process this, using the NVIDIA Stitcher, supports those cameras out of the box. And we're working with NVIDIA to add support for the 2 camera models like the GoPro Fusion, Samsung Gear VR 360, and other 2 camera systems, including Ricoh Theta. But right now we're a little blocked by our friends at NVIDIA, and they're working on a fix that they're going to provide to us soon on that. So expect those to be available. Then I would say in the fall, we'll support the can-do models as well. We have tried it with bigger systems like the Yi Halo, but the current one only supports the 16 cameras around and not the one up. So if you're somebody that's using a Yi Halo, we probably could do that, but it might not be everything that you're looking for. So if you're somebody that's interested in that, write into us and let us know your scenarios. We've used the Halo here ourselves and depended on the Google Jump Stitcher service, which is awesome. But we could do something for those people as well. That's kind of where we're at with the camera rig setups that we're supporting at launch.
One more question. What codec compression and bit rates are you encoding for 1440 and 4K files for web streaming?
Good question. So right now, the system uses an output of 4K, and I think recently we tweaked the ECREC settings to either 12 or 13 megabits, and it has, I think that can go up to 20 for 4K files. For the 1440 size, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I would guess because it's lower on the ladder, it's somewhere between 8 and 10 with a 50% cap, so probably up to 15 is typical for that. One of the things we're going to be adding really soon is a special download mode for both the Go and for other devices that will have downloads that are kind of the maximum playable content for your device. And it will have higher compression capabilities or higher bit rates, so we'll do less compression for these download modes. And the first one we're supporting there is the Go, and that will be a 3840 by 2160 output at, I think, 25 megabits minimum. So that'll be a very lightly compressed H.264 file. Speaking of compression, recently we updated Spin Play on the Go specifically support what's called the compositor mode. Now, Oculus's own applications like Henry and Oculus Rooms supports the compositor mode, and that's why you get a tremendous amount of sharpness on the Go device. And our player actually also supports this special compositor mode inside of the Go using the Oculus VR framework. And that means that you're going to get sharper content on this than pretty much any device that we've seen. Well, I think that's it for questions for now. We've been at this for about 30 minutes, and I really appreciate everybody showing up and asking smart questions. Hopefully, please sign up if you haven't already for early access. We're going to be providing this in the next couple weeks to our beta testers so they can get in. If you have an account, we'll enable your account to open up the Stitch mode, and rather than seeing that, please sign up for the beta message. You'll actually see the same interface that I just showed inside the Stitcher, and you'll be able to try it yourself. So please sign up for our early access list, and we'll make sure that the folks that are on this and already got a demo will be added to our early access list so you can try it out as well. Well, if that's it, thanks everybody for coming. And I'm Sean Safreed from Red Giant, and we'll see you next time.